For a change, let us learn how to write a notice. Let us discuss how to write a notice. Particularly, I am going to discuss about notice of an annual general meeting. So once I discuss about the particulars notice of an annual general meeting, any other notice you yourself can write, be it notice of an extraordinary general meeting, be it notice of a statutory meeting, you yourself can write. So this is how the notice should start. Notice is hereby given to convene the 15th annual general meeting of the members of PQR Limited to be held on 15th September 2014, Wednesday at the registered office number 8 Venus Avenue, Neptune Street. Like this you can use these things, Venus, Neptune, Mars, of course, if you remember all those things. So at 10 a.m. to transact the following business. Some important points to be recollected here. Point number 1, notice should contain what are all the information, date, time, place and the business to be transacted at the meeting. So here the notice, it contains the date, it contains the time, it also contains the place and the business to be transacted at the meeting. Sorry. Another important aspect is where it is going to be notice of annual general meeting, you will mention which numbered meeting is it. So the which numbered meeting is it, you will mention in the case of an annual general meeting. Don't do this mistake for extraordinary general meeting, because extraordinary is obviously extraordinary. You need not have a count of what extraordinary, which numbered extraordinary meeting is this. So as far as an annual general meeting is concerned, it is mandatory that you will mention which numbered meeting it is, whether it is 8th meeting or is it 9th meeting or is it 15th meeting, or you will mention. Next, annual general meeting lab, you know 4 ordinary business are there. What are all the 4 ordinary business? Consideration and adoption of balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow statement, auditor's report and the board of directors report. Next, declaration of dividend, appointment of auditors and fixing their remuneration, appointment of directors. So we will write one by one. You will give the heading ordinary business. We will give the heading ordinary business, and inside this heading ordinary business you will have A, consideration and adoption of, all those stories you will write. Next you will write declaration of dividend, Don't just write declaration of dividend, because the shareholder should know what percentage of dividend is proposed to be declared. So you can, below this you can write, the directors have proposed to declare a dividend of ₹2 per share for the financial year 13-14. Like this you can write. So understand, notice itself is given only for giving information to the shareholders. Please don't give incomplete information to the shareholders. Your notice then becomes redundant, useless. So declaration of dividend, he will say that the director, they have proposed to pay this much as dividend. Next is appointment of directors, don't speak, in place of those who are retiring, and here provide information. Mr. X, age 47, is a director who is retiring by rotation and being eligible offers himself for reappointment. This is the information which you are giving to the members. You say that this person, he becomes eligible and he is offering himself for reappointment. Retiring by rotation means every year in a company, certain directors, they must retire on a rotational basis, which means this year I will retire, this year I will retire, next year you will retire, next year somebody else will retire, again I will retire. We retire on a rotational basis. Right. So appointment of auditors. So what should I mention in this appointment of auditors? We can make a mention that, see, we can do like this also in the alternative. We know how to write a resolution, correct? So you can write appointment of auditors and then you can give the resolution itself as it is. That's not a crime. That's not a crime. So thereby what happens? Two things is satisfied. One, you exhibit how you know to write a resolution and then you can incorporate it in the notice also. Everyone, you can either give it as in an information format or just you give the heading appointment of auditors and you can give that resolved that so and so. Come on, yeah. Resolved that Mr. ABC, Chartered Accountant, be and is hereby appointed as auditor of the company to hold office from the conclusion of this annual general meeting till the conclusion of next annual general meeting. Like this you can give that resolution alone. That itself means that you are communicating the agenda to the members of the company. Are you all following? Yes, everyone? Sure. Now, mind it, certain informations to be kept in mind. Number one, you will see whether if it is going to be an ordinary business or if it is going to be a special business. Special business are the, I need to give a statement. What is that statement called as? Special business are the, I need to give a explanatory statement explaining the transactions. Last class also I have given you a homework asking you to write the resolution for issue of sweat equity shares. So now what happens? If it is going to be a special business, you need to give an explanatory statement. This is point number one. Point number two is, do you remember when we discussed about proxy? You and I know that proxy can be appointed, but a layman will not know whether a proxy should be appointed or not. So thereby, what should you mention in the notice? You should mention in the notice that a member who is entitled to attend an oath at the meeting is also entitled to appoint a proxy, and the proxy may or may not be a member. Are you able to at least recollect what we discussed in the previous? Everyone? So this must also be mentioned in the notice. And you can also add one more information. Proxy form must be deposited at least 48 hours before the time which is fixed for the meeting. So all these informations you can add. So this I am leaving it to you. You can write this appointment of auditors, and then you can give some notes here. You can give something as notes here. And then number one, you can say a member entitled to attend and vote at the meeting is entitled to appoint a proxy. Number two, proxy may or may not be a member. Number three, proxy form shall be deposited at least 48 hours before the time fixed for the meeting. And if you want to add some other information, you can add that other information also. So at last this notice must be signed. It can generally be signed by the managing director or by the secretary. But mind it, this should be on behalf of the board of directors. Because we all know that 4 PCs are required for a proper meeting. It must be properly convened, it must be properly constituted, it must be properly conducted, properly concluded. So out of that first PC, yes, it must be properly convened. We can say that it is properly convened only if it is convened with the authority of the board of directors. So here you will say signed MD or secretary whomsoever it is on behalf of the board of directors. I have given you the format. I will give you one homework also, take it. Draft a notice to convene the 16th annual general meeting, to convene the 16th annual general meeting of the members of ABC Limited having 4 ordinary business comma 1 special business for increasing the share capital, 1 special business for increasing the share capital. Number 2, another special business for issue of sweat equity shares. Why I have given 2 special business here, you know? One special business is with an ordinary resolution, another special business is with a special resolution. Highlighters, for a special business with an ordinary resolution, just explanatory statement alone will come. For a special business with a special resolution, you should inform that it is a special resolution, and you will also give the explanatory statement. These are all the 2 highlighting points which you should note here. So drafting of notice is also over.